So I wrote my essay going to business school. I was like, hey, I want to work in the news business because I want to improve, the way we report the news. And so I went to business school. So immediately when I got in there, they were like, I don't think you're going to be able to get a job at a news agency because you don't have any experience. So why don't you do consulting instead? Apparently anybody can be a consultant.
That's true.
And so, they're like, yeah, no, seriously. I was like, I have none of this background. So like, credit to the consulting firms. Like if you go to the right school, they will hire you as long as, you do well in the interviews and things like that. So I became a consultant, management consultant for 4.5, 5 years at a Big Four consulting firm. And it just so happens coincidentally, so then COVID hit, like maybe a year after I started working in consulting. And it just so happened that I was working for a big pharma client at the time. And so COVID, big awakening for, I think, a lot of us. I mean, for me, for many other people, because at first I was like one of the people who was okay. I was like, all right, we got to stay inside. We got to lock down. We got to stop the spread, right? Who doesn't want to stop? I was like, I'll stop. Yeah, let's stop the spread. Let's do that. And then it was then the masks and then eventually the vaccines. But then over the next course, like maybe a year and a half, things started coming out that was like weird. It was like, what the heck is this? Like they seemed to be contradicting themselves. Then you had that whole Joe Rogan debacle of the ivermectin when they said it was horse paste when there's like a human version of it that obviously he's not taking the veterinary medicine.
For sure.
So then I saw that, but then I was on the inside. I was literally like, okay, something weird's going on. And then I got to do, so this is the year, I think it was like 2022, right at the beginning of 2022. So
and you're working for a big pharma company at that time as a consultant.
As a consultant. Yeah. My specialization was supply chain. So I was doing projects like optimizing inventory. So it's like how much product you have based on how much you're going to sell and how much you're making. Cause you want to have the right amount, right? If you have too much, there's going to be leftover, it's going to expire. You're going to have to throw it away.
Yeah.
If it's not enough, then, you run out of stock and you can't make money, right? So you have to have the perfect amount. So that was my job. And a lot of it was like making PowerPoints, spreadsheet, PowerPoint work.
Yeah.
And so then we did this project at the beginning of 2022 for this big pharma client. I can't say which one for legal reasons, but it was one of the manufacturers of the COVID-19 vaccine. And one of the projects that we did was looking at the totality of the inventory they had within this product. And we went to them with a report saying that by the end of this year, and this is once again 2022. So then everybody who wanted to get the vaccine had taken it by this point. It was because 2021 is where it came out. It was about a year after that. People had already gotten their first couple doses. And so we let them know, it's like, hey, it looks like you're going to have a few $100 million worth of inventory at the very least, depending on how you calculate it. It could be worth more than that. That's going to be left over at the end of the year that has no demand against it, meaning you're not going to be able to sell it. Nobody's buying it. And then a few weeks later,
you're going to have product left on the shelves.
You could have, well, yeah, exactly. Nobody's buying this. And then a few weeks later, I see the CEO of this company go on to CNBC or one of these news, companies, news shows. And he says, well, I think it's time to do like another booster shot. And so then to me, I was like, holy fuck, this whole thing is I can't do this anymore. I was like, I'm out.
So they created the booster because, we have extra left over, of course.
I mean, people say that, but then they'll call you a conspiracy theorist for saying that because they're just like, no, there's scientific backing to this and that. But I'm on the inside. I'm like, this seems like a pure financial decision.
Dude, Magellan was a conspiracy theorist, wasn't he?
What, for going around the world?
Well, no. Yeah. Who's the guy that prophesized that there was another place to go to sail to?
Well, Columbus was the guy that said the world is round and I'm going to go the other way. Right? People were going one direction. He's like, I think I can get around to the other side. Yeah. That was Columbus.
Oh, yeah, Columbus. That's the original reach around right there.
Yeah.
First of all, let's just say that, dude.
But at that point, I thought, man, I think I'm contributing to evil and I don't want to do this anymore.
Wow.
And eventually I got out. There's a whole story of like me getting let go because I started getting more rogue at work, just like saying stuff you're not supposed to say.
Oh yeah. Just milling around the water cooler.
Yeah. Well, to like powerful, the elites of the company, the people who were really high up. Yeah. And I started saying stuff that was like, I think was correct, but it was uncomfortable for them to hear.
Yeah.
And then I get brought into like a meeting. It's like, hey, do what's your future look like here at this company? Where do you see yourself? That kind of thing. And then I was put on performance improvement plan shortly thereafter. That people who know, people who work in corporate America will know what that is, right? It's basically their way of firing somebody without legal
Right. They try to show that there's steps.
Yeah, they say like, oh, we're not firing this person for any other reason other than poor performance. Except, they said I was doing like typos. And it was like really.
First of all, what Asian is doing typos?
Well, I mean,
Not even to make it racial or
there
whatever.
I'm not going to say there aren't typos. Sometimes there were typos.
Yeah.
but
that's more of a, that's certainly more of a general Caucasian problem.
You talking about Epstein with the typos on the emails or?
Oh, that's a good point, huh?
Like the whole thing is typos.